You're watching 13 Moons Homestead. My name is Lynette. I thought I'd drop in and give you an update on the garden. I've been behind in getting videos out, and I figured this was a good place to start today on summer solstice 2019. So if you've been following along on my gardening playlist, you know that we've cleared this space behind me here that used to have dog kennels full of some garbage and stacked up logs and stuff, and have trimmed back the weeds, brush hogged around the edges to clear it out, and tilled this area back here twice now. And then we were waiting on being able to have a tree removed at the opposite and in front of me here to let more sunlight into this area, because our property is mostly wooded and we needed a little more sunlight available in order to be able to grow a garden here. This is the most open spot on the property except for the pasture, so we're making the most out of this spot. So one of the trees that needed to come down we now have taken down, but I wanted to show you also what is left now. There's still some cleanup that needs to be done. So let me turn you around and I'll show you that part. So you can see the satellite dish is still back there at the end of the garden, and the area right in front of the satellite dish up to right about here was going to be approximately 30 by 50, maybe 40 by 60 once we get the edges cleared a little bit more space. And we have a new pile of wood chips there that came from a lot of the branches on this tree that we took down. But now that we've taken this tree down and started clearing the underbrush all the way back to where that tree was, we have more than doubled the available space. Some of this back here is still going to be too shaded for some things, but even if all I can put back here is maybe a garden shed or something like that, that would be useful. But I think we're going to be able to use some of the space for planting too once the logs are gone. So obviously all the larger pieces of log still need to be cleaned up. All the ones that are smaller here will be cut for firewood, and the ones in the back there that have the magenta painted ends are ones that the arborist is the reason they painted it is so that it will dry out and cure a little slower, so that wood might be usable. And then you can also see in the background there, they left kind of a generous stump right here. That's because it's quite wide around and has some interesting burling and stuff on it. And when they come back, they're going to make some slices off of it for me to do some end tabletops with. That will be really rather cool. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And then we have one more tree that they didn't have time to get this last time, and it's this V-notch tree right here. It's another big leaf maple, and it's what's causing this whole thing of leaves here, and it shades out quite a lot of sun, so that one more maple needs to come out as well. And then this area, finally, from way down here all the way over into here, will be garden space. We still have a lot of work to do. Once all of the trees are down that are coming down, then we have to rake this whole area again and maybe even till it, because the raspberries are starting to pop up back through. They're very determined plants. We'll dig out some more roots and get it cleaned up, and then the landscape fabric can start going down, and if we're real lucky, our grading blade will come before too long. It's due to show up sometime in July, and we'll be able to actually even this out a little bit more, especially after these logs are gone on the other side. And then we'll be able to finally put the landscaping fabric down and start building the raised beds. I'm fairly convinced at this point, because of my schedule for my business and my husband's schedule for his job and the times when we can get extra help, that I probably still won't be able to plant for a fall garden this year either. But we're just going to keep working on this and get the garden beds built, hopefully before winter, so that in the spring I'll be able to do full gardening next year. So that is the hope, and that is the plan. So we're still working on the garden. So this one rhododendron bush is one of the last holdouts of the rhododendrons in our yard this year. I know if you've been watching my videos, you've heard me say over and over and over again, there's rhododendrons everywhere, and there are quite a lot of them. And they were really pretty. We had some this kind of shade of pink, and we had some a little deeper purpley pink, and we have had some red ones. There are still some that need to be relocated or just eliminated. There's still just a lot of them. But also, it's that time of year when things start blooming, so we're finding things all over the yard. This, being the first year on a property, the roses are blooming. We found some tangled up in a big mess of plants that needs to be sorted out. There's some by the house. And black raspberries are starting to, they're not quite ripe yet, but they're getting there. We have some, there are berries, but they're still red. And I tried one to be sure, and it is very, very, very tart. It is definitely not a ripe berry. We know that they should be blackberries and black raspberries. We have both here, so we're looking forward to being able to pick some soon, assuming the birds don't eat them all first. We are still working on the new orchard. We're actually ready to start preparing the soil where the trees will be planted. But we have to wait. When the arborist was out here to take down the large tree for the garden, I showed him the pasture area, and he identified there are 6 dead trees in the tree line beside the pasture. It's not particularly safe for him to climb dead trees, which means the best way to get them out is to cut them from the ground. So we're going to wait to plant the new orchard at the back end of the pasture so that he will have the easiest time felling those trees without damaging anything. So we're still on hold for the orchard, but we keep watering the trees that we have that are in pots and stuff. All of them are holding up fine except one, which actually just never, I think, was never really going to do anything. At first I thought it was going to finally leaf out, and then the leaf buds died on that one. The one that I got just like it also took a really long time to leaf out, but it did finally leaf out. So we may have lost one, but I don't actually think that was any fault of ours. I think that we just got a dud. Never to worry. I have many more plans for more trees, either this fall or next spring. And I still have 11 trees left and 9 blueberries. The blueberries look fantastic. They're full of berries. They're in very large pots. We will probably leave the blueberries in pots until we get past the fruiting season for them and plant them in the fall. And then whatever we do put in the new orchard area, we're going to for sure have to finagle some fencing. Well, my husband has been using a portion of the living room for his office for a couple of weeks now, and he's been noticing deer out at that back end of the pasture every single morning. So I know if I move the trees away from the house where they're somewhat protected right now and put them out there, they will just be eaten up if I don't do something about fencing. So I'm trying to decide if I should put electric fencing around the whole area or if I should just do cages around the trees for now. Both are expensive, so we'll I have to do some more pricing out and see what I want to do. Probably cages around individual trees right now is a better idea. We have this, I don't even know, there's a pair of tiny birds, I can't tell what kind they are, and we have some Stellar's jays that are all nesting on our property. And for whatever reason, the last 3 or 4 days, they have been arguing over something, and those two little birds keep dive bombing this one Stellar's jay, and they have these really loud arguments. So I don't know. Problems in the bird neighborhood, I guess. I don't know if I can fix it for them. They're nesting in different places, but they both want to own the territory in between, I think. So sorry if there's loud bird sounds. We are still working on the kitchen too. I will be doing videos to update you on the kitchen and on the orchard. We will be doing even more in the kitchen this weekend, so I'm hoping to have a more complete update on the kitchen in a week or so. I'm still working too. This is my busy season for yarn dyeing, and it takes up most of my spare time, but I'm trying to get some videos out so that it doesn't just sit here with nothing for a couple of months. So doing what I can. I will get back as often as I can manage. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video.